Today on CityCast Philly, I'm here at the Philadelphia Zoo, America's first zoo. This year is really big because they're celebrating 150 years since opening their gates. And Mayor Cherelle Parker officially made July 1st Philadelphia Zoo Day. I'm speaking with the institution's 15th president and CEO about this anniversary and about her own milestones here at the zoo. It's Thursday, July 11th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Dr. Jo-Elle Mogerman, you're the 15th president and CEO of the Philadelphia Zoo. I feel like a little girl again when I walked up to the gates every time I come to the zoo. How did you feel on your first day of working at the zoo?
Ooh, I felt excited. Mm-hmm. I'm eternally curious. And so it was exciting to come into the nation's first zoo, an old zoo in Philadelphia, and like really humbled that I get to lead it. I get to be the steward for this amount of time.
You're from Chicago, right?
That's correct, Southside.
So what have you learned about Philadelphia since your time here?
So what I have learned is that Philadelphia loves its firsts, right?
Yeah, and we have a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of firsts here, and Philadelphians take pride in the first of many things. I've also learned that the Philadelphia Zoo is part of what it means to be Philadelphian, which is really cool, I think. Mm-hmm. There's a funny story. I did not realize, people pointed out when I was in the process of interviewing and accepted the role, they pointed out the Rocky Steps. And in my head, because I am a self-proclaimed science nerd, I was like, wow, that's really interesting that they're pointing out the composition of the steps to the art museum. I'm surprised by that. That's fascinating, but great for geology. Yeah, it's okay to laugh. Okay. And then later I learned oh no, it's not Rocky as in rock types. It's Rocky, the movie and the statue. And every time, I know it's okay. And I was like, oh, that Rocky didn't even occur to me.
Speaking of first, you are the first woman and first African-American to serve in this role. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, it's kind of funny and, again, humbling and honoring to think that the nation's oldest zoo, 150 years later, just got its first female president. Is kind of a shoulder, a weight to carry, but a good one, right? Mm-hmm. And then there are not a lot of African-American directors, and I knew that because I know most of them. So it's a real honor to be African-American in the city of brotherly love in a really rich and diverse city. I think that's super cool. I have built my career on being inclusive and leaning into who I am as a woman and as an African-American to make me a better leader for wildlife.
As I said in the intro, the Philadelphia Zoo was the first in the nation. But opening day was actually delayed because of the Civil War. Tell me about that history.
Yeah, so the zoo was actually chartered in 1859. And so the war broke out. They had to build it. And so that meant that there was a huge delay until our actual opening, July 1st, 1874.
Let's talk about some other notable firsts to highlight. I read on the website that the Philadelphia Zoo was the first successful orangutan and chimpanzee births in the U.S., the first zoo to build an on-site animal care center, the first to develop a specially formulated food for zoo animals, and also the first to open a children's zoo. That's a legacy for sure.
It is. It is. In our profession, in the zoo and aquarium profession, Philadelphia Zoo is known as being an innovator. We are the only one of two zoos in the country that has been continuously accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums for 50 years. And so we are known as innovators. And all of those are the reason why, we take what we learn about the animals in our care and apply it to the animal care and husbandry, the veterinary care, the exhibits. And that helps to lead to successful births. The zoo cake diet was that original diet that was
that
specially,
diet.
it was specially formulated for animals in our care. And it is the foundation actually for a field of study known as zoo nutrition. So there are certain zoos around the country who have nutritionists who have studied zoo nutrition specifically, and certain zoos have zoo nutritionists now. So we form the seed for those kinds of really important animal care, animal science. And the same occurs for the animal health and the research we did around what we know today to be zoonotic diseases, those diseases that transfer between different species.
Mm-hmm.
And we were some of the first to really sort of explore that and examine that so we could provide the best and high quality care for our animals at the time. That is the root of zoonotic disease transmission, tuberculosis, COVID. All of those are the diseases and so we were part of really kind of understanding that and then sharing that with the world that has taken it and moved on. Yeah.
Nice. And now in 2024, just so that people can understand the size of the zoo, how many animals does the zoo care for?
So right now we care for about 1,900 animals in our 42 acres. So we are a landlocked zoo, but we provide high quality care, and that's everything from the ants that are in our children's zoo on up to the big orangutans and big furry mammals that we all love.
Nice. And along with 150 years of history, like you said, the Philadelphia Zoo has been at the forefront of conservation efforts and education and studies. But then sometimes there are communities that push back on just zoos in general.
Mm-hmm.
How would you respond to those critics?
So those critics who really don't think animals should be in human care, right, for zoos, I understand the concern. What we have in common is we all love animals, right? And we all want to do right by animals. We have different opinions about the approach that should take. I would say at the Philadelphia zoos and other accredited zoos, we provide high quality animal care, well-being, and welfare. Our animals have access to veterinary services 24 hours a day. They are eating human-grade food. So they are getting good care. And what those folks have helped us to do is push us to be better. So we now have the tools to measure animal well-being and animal welfare. So we can say, yeah, these animals are in good care and they're doing well and thriving, I think, which is important. And zoos like the Philadelphia Zoo are uniquely positioned to be advocates for animals in the wild. Unfortunately, the wild is shrinking and has been shrinking. We're in the process of a sixth mass extinction. So we are folks who understand and know how to care for animals. We can take in our puma cubs are a great example where they needed a home. There's something happened to the mom. We provided care for them instead of them being killed. So we can provide homes for animals. We can help with confiscation because wildlife trade is a big issue. So if something gets confiscated, we have the skills and expertise to take care of them for a while until they can go back. And then our conservation efforts. So we have been Philadelphia Zoo has been a part of golden lion tamarin conservation for a really long time. And because of our work of caring for golden lion tamarins in our zoo, there are golden lion tamarins in the wild, and those populations are increasing. So they were a part of a reintroduction program. Born here, bring the population up, work on getting them the skills they need to live back in the wild, put them back in the wild. And there are a lot of zoos, accredited zoos, who are doing that sort of work.
Where's that species from?
They're from South America. They're a small primate.
And when these species come to Philadelphia, that's a way for Philadelphians and visitors to learn about other species from around the world.
Yeah, the origin of, the Philadelphia Zoo was a bunch of people who understood that as humans, we have this bond with animals. We just naturally do. And so they understood that and wanted to make sure that Philadelphians understood the wide, rich world of animals in a park-like setting because they knew that was important to the health and welfare of human beings. Like all of that is really important because we all have a role to play to be advocates for wildlife and to help wildlife, whether it's at the Philadelphia Zoo, whether it's natural wildlife in Philly, or whether it's across the globe. And zoos are uniquely positioned to do that and to be a place where large volumes of people can come and hear that message and have those experiences.
We've got more on the Philadelphia Zoo after the break.
Want to know one of my favorite sounds? Here it is. That's the sound I hear when I'm learning Spanish with Babbel. And if you want to learn a new language this year, I guarantee it'll be one of your favorite sounds too. I'm David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, and I've been doing Babbel for a few weeks, and it's been so much fun. This week, I've been learning lots of food vocabulary and how to order in a restaurant. This is one of the things I love about Babbel, is that it's about learning the language so that you can use it. As Babbel says, it's designed by real people for real conversation. So it's all based on real life situations. And these restaurant lessons are awesome. When I went to Mexico City last year with my girlfriend, I was mute. I was a mute. But next time, I'm going to be ordering the sopes and las salsas picantes. Babbel has over 16 million subscriptions sold, plus all of Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. Here's a special limited-time deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
So, Jo-Elle, remember we were talking about first.
Yep.
This is not my first time at the zoo.
Good. Glad to hear it.
As a kid, I remember taking the hot air balloon ride. I'm sure you've heard.
I have heard about the hot air balloon. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It is no longer here. What about the peacock walking around?
So the peacocks, we still have peacocks. They're
Okay.
not free roaming peacocks
Okay.
anymore. And a lot of that has to do more with, again, those zoodonic diseases, avian bird flu, right? The
Interesting.
bird
Okay.
flu, right? And so in order to make sure that our peacocks stay healthy, they don't wander around anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm also a mom now, so I have taken my children to see the flamingos and the Lumen Nature experience, which is nice to see the zoo light up in those winter months. And when I think about it, I've kind of grown up with the zoo, and now the zoo is still taking care of me like as an adult. So what do you hope families get to experience when they spend time here?
Several things. One, just great memories, just what you're recounting, right? Your memories of childhood, you're making memories with your own family, now with your own children. I want that to continue. And I want people to have the Philadelphia Zoo just be a part of where they come to learn, where they come to have experiences where they can practice themselves being animal advocates.
How so?
Well, like walking around and learning about the golden lion tamarins that we talked about. We talked about the first orangutan birth. Orangutans are part of their issue in the wild is that palm oil plantations are reducing habitat. Well, when you start looking at labels, palm oil is found in a lot of things. So you as a consumer have a choice about which products you choose to buy. And actually, another first of the Philadelphia Zoo was advocating for the reduction of palm oil in products, which actually led to a change in some corporate product ingredients. So again, you have choices as a consumer. That would be a good example of, what you could do as a family. And then, of course, for the little ones, I don't know how old your children are.
They're bigger now.
Oh, okay. All right. But going to, again, we had the first children's zoo, going to the children's zoo, interacting with the goats, that builds empathy. Empathy is important. As we all know today, we need to have more empathy, but it builds empathy for wildlife as well as empathy for other humans. So those are some ways where you get to practice behaviors and do things that help you become a greater advocate for wildlife.
What do you hear from families when they walk around the zoo acres?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just walking through the reptile house today.
That one scares me a little bit.
and people have different opinions about reptiles, right? And there was a group of campers coming in, and it was there were boys. They were probably looking at them, maybe 7 or so, and they came in and they jumped down the steps, and they were like, ah, "It's a frog! It's a snake! It's a..." And then there was another group of campers coming in, and the girl was like, they were looking for the snakes, right? And she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the biggest snake I've ever seen." Those are the moments that we all get excited about. Those moments when kids are coming in and they're discovering maybe something kids of yesterday, more of my age, would have seen in a book, but kids of today might only see on their phone. In my office, I have that green box is what I had as a kid. That was my, oh my gosh, it's a this, it's a that. And that's what keeps me grounded in this work. It's providing that opportunity for young people. Some people will take it and make a career out of it. Some people won't. But I just want you to have a conservation ethic in whatever you do.
What's in the green box?
Oh, it's called Wildlife Treasury. And back in the day when there were encyclopedias, like not Wikipedia, but encyclopedias, it was a monthly subscription. And in the mail came little cards. Each card had an animal on it. So it told you where the animal came from. It told you a little bit about, and then there was a little write-up. And so as a kid, like that was the most exciting day for me when my packet of cards arrived, and it essentially became a little catalog of wild animals that I didn't know anything about or got to discover because, again, I was a city kid. My family didn't camp. That's not what we did. So, this was my entree into the world of animals.
And you still have it in your office today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Jo-Elle, you also told us so much about the past and the current happenings at the zoo, but what are some of your long-term plans or things we can look forward to from the zoo in the coming months and years?
So it's always important to me to be, to understand the place. Like, what is Philadelphia? Who is Philadelphia? Who is the region? What is the region striving for? Who does the region want to be? And so I don't have a good answer for you yet because I'm still learning. But one of the things that I have learned is as the Philadelphia Zoo moves into its 151st year, 160th year, it will be important to bring the threads that make this so much a part of what it means to be Philadelphia forward. And there are experiences here that I've learned. You mentioned the zoo balloon as an example. We don't have the zoo balloon anymore, but we still have zoo keys.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I think I remember that.
See? Do you see what that brings?
Yeah.
Like, that's something we can pull forward no matter what exhibits we have, no matter how those exhibits look. Zoo keys are something that is a memory, that is a positive memory, that for us is educational.
Jo-Elle, what is the zoo key for those that don't know?
Great question. The zoo key is literally a key, and around the zoo there are various audio boxes. And so you put your zoo key in to the box and turn it, and a story will come out about an animal or an exhibit.
So I'm going to take my golden zoo key and place it in one of the boxes.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm one of the zoo's animal curators. These cattle certainly make a big impression. Just look at those horns.
Maybe it's like you should have a library card and also a zoo key.
Yeah.
That should be like the essential. And maybe a green box. So I really want a green box now. Okay, here's the last part. So here on CityCast Philly, we love to offer recommendations and life hacks to our listeners. So can we play a quick game of rapid fire?
Sure.
Okay. Favorite land animal exhibit?
Here at the zoo?
Yes.
The giant tortoises.
Okay. Favorite aquatic animal exhibit?
Hippos.
Who is the funniest animal at the zoo?
I really like Tony the rhino.
Okay. Who is your favorite newcomer at the zoo?
Ooh, we just got some goats. Little goats. They're full of personality.
Where's the best place to get cool and where's the best place to get warm?
Any of our paths that are tree covered, there's like a 10-degree temperature difference. So you can get cool wandering on any path that has a wonderful tree canopy. A place to get warm, that might be part of Reptile House.
Favorite spot to eat at the zoo?
I love the food trucks. I'm from Chicago and they have a Chicago hot dog and it's pretty on point.
Really? Okay, I have to try that one. And what's something you wish more people knew about the zoo?
I wish that more people knew that we are, in fact, a place for everyone. You can come in as an adult and just enjoy it. You don't have to feel weird about coming, that we are really, truly a place for everyone engaged in, I call it, serious fun.
That was Dr. Jo-Elle Mogerman, CEO and president of the Philadelphia Zoo. Thank you so much for sitting and speaking with me on CityCast Philly.
Thanks you for having me.
Check out our show notes for a list of upcoming events here at the zoo. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye. And the sound that they're making, what is that?
That's just them talking, basically. That's just their noises. Right?